Hey guys, welcome back to Bait and Tackle, and today we're going to talk about weighted swim bait hooks, specifically the ones that have underspins on them, or what do they call them? I think flashy swimmers, kind of like these. You get the Beast Hooks owner makes. Awesome hooks, awesome underspins, but the thing I don't like about them with my bait, the big-eyed fathead, is that it sticks out so much. This lead is just so huge and it sticks way down past the belly. So what I have done is I have come up with a way, using a Do-It mold, I've come up with a way of making a very streamlined weighted flashy swimmer. And I think this actually is the ticket right here, because it keeps that lead weight down, tucks it into the belly a little bit. And I've been doing this a lot on other people's swim baits as well, and I may do another video on that in the future, but this time I want to concentrate on these with my big-eyed fathead. So let's get into this. I want to show you all the details and show you what you could do to customize your hooks for swim baits. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to show you guys is the mold we use. The mold that we're going to be using is, again, it's a Do-It mold, okay? And this is the weighted hook jig, large size, okay, or large sizes, I think it's what that S is there, model SMB-3L-MTD, okay? And what this does is this gives you the big hooks. So this is the 6 to 7/0, 7 to 8/0, 7 to 8/0, but it allows you to do both types of hooks. You can do the offset EWG hooks there with the eye the other way, right, this way, or you can do them the other this way, like the normal swim bait hooks, and that's what we're going to do today, and I'm going to show you. So this right here is a 8/0, I believe it is a 768 Mustad. So you'd have to look that up, I'm not sure, or I can actually put it in the bottom. I'll put it in the description towards the end. These are 8/0 though. The 8/0 fits these baits, the big-eyed fathead, perfectly. And what we're gonna do is, I'm gonna get another one out here just so that we can play around with it. I'll take one of these brown ones. And I wanna show you, this is how I sized my hook. So that hook eye is gonna go right to the front of the bait, just like that. And then this hook will actually fit right to the back of my hook slot there. And it is a giant hook slot. But the thing is when you put this hook in there, do you see how the barb part is actually hooked down like that? And I'm sure that has a lot to do with hooking into the fish and giving you a good hooking ratio, like a keeping it on the hook kind of thing. But the thing is, you got a barb there too. So what I've been doing is I've actually been bending the hooks, but you can't bend the hooks until after you get the lead weight poured on there. And what I did was, I want to show you guys what I did here, was I took this mold and I took some of I had a wire form made from a company called Mustang Wire Company. And these guys made me a whole bunch of these. I got like I think I got like 5,000 made. It was a couple $100. It is pretty expensive, but you get your own wire forms made. Now I use these for my underspins. But what I found was that if I take these and I take a pair of little snippers there, or little, not snippers, but little needle nose, or these are some split ring pliers, and you take it and I bend that V right here, okay? And I'm gonna show you why I'm doing this here in a second. I'm gonna bend that V a little bit so it's bent down a little bit out of the way. And what I did was I put it inside of the cavities, and see these little lines right here? These are not on the actual mold. I had to put these in here, okay? So what'll happen is this will fit right in here like this, and the hook will go over top of that now. The hook will set, and it's hard to show you this and hold both these at the same time, but the hook will set in there, and that little bend there allows that to be behind it, okay? So it stays in that lead. Now eventually over time it'll probably wear out, fall out or whatever, but it should take a pretty good amount of beating before it would actually fall out. So that's what I'm doing with with bending that wire with the little needle nose. So What I did to get this modification to the mold is I put this in here by itself, lined it up where I wanted it to be, and I did it in all 3 cavities, and I closed the mold. I just put it in there, I closed the mold where I wanted it, and then I hit it with a hammer. I put a piece of like cloth or a piece of silicone or something here, and I hit it with a hammer just so I didn't want to ruin my mold. Hit it with a hammer a few times to make sure that it went flat. And once it's flat right here and there's no gaps, then you're good. Then that means it's in there, it's made its indentation. Now this one down here, I actually had to get out the Dremel and Dremel this little spot here. That is because this actually folds back. See that little loop? And that's where I wanted the loop to be. So that's the only problem that I have with that one right there, which is the one we're going to use today actually. So we take our 8/0 hook, we put it in the mold, we put our wire form in the mold, and we close it up, make sure we're tight. And what I do just to be on the safe side is I take another little clip and I stretch it out all the way and I put it across the handles just to make sure that this stays nice and tight closed, okay? And we're gonna be pouring in this cavity here, and I've got the lead nice and hot right now, so let me get you over to the lead. We're gonna pour one of these. Okay, lead's nice and hot right now. I'm just gonna put this underneath there, and remember that hook is hanging underneath there, so you can't have anything else underneath. And I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna pour, and I'm gonna stick that nozzle right up in there. I'm gonna go ahead and pour this right there. Yep, and that's it. So I filled it up really high. Let's bring you back over to the bench so we can check this thing out. Okay, let me show you this here. We'll take the clip off, the clamp. And this little rubber piece fell off, that's okay. And we're gonna open this thing up. And we had a little bit of spillover, a little bit of flashing, which is okay. That's the first time I've had that bad of flashing on this thing. And then we just take some flush cutters and just trim off the excess. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just trim off the excess here, got a little bit extra on the bottom here, and that's it. So now I have this, which is everything I need. There's the hook, there is the bend down there where I'm going to close that off and put an underspin, and there's my hook. So now we can bend it. So I'm going to bring you over to the vise and I'm going to show you what I do to bend these hooks. So I want to have you guys pretty close to this just so you can see what I'm doing, but all I'm doing is I'm gapping out my vise here just enough to where I'm not going to mess up the tip of the hook and I'm not going to mess up the barb, and I'm just going to bend it out just like that. I'm just going to pull up. You probably can't see that. I'm pulling up on the hook and bending that barb part out. So what I did was I just straightened that out a little bit to give it a wider gap. So if we look at one of the original hooks and look at the one we just bent, you see what I did there? See how that hook gap is bent out now? So let's do it a little bit more, because I think we're going to need a little bit more than that. Okay, I think that might be, I don't know if it's too much. We're also going to bend up the front of it too, but see that? See how I bent that out like that? That's the back one. Okay, so we bent the hook out just a little bit there. Sorry, I had to figure out what I was doing here. So I bent this part out just a little bit there, but we're also going to bend this part as well, because we want that hook on my bait specifically. We want it to come closer to the bait. So all I did was just close that in there, and I'm just going to bend it a little bit, and I think that's going to be it. So I bent this just a touch and that just a touch. So let's bring you over to the bench. Let's see if this actually works. All right, so we've got it bent. I'm just going to test it in this other swim bait that I've got here, just to make sure it's going to sit where I want it to sit. So when I put the hook through right now, I want it to go all the way to the back of the cavity, up through the center of the bait. Watch yourself not to hook yourself, because it will get you. Okay, so this is what I wanted. I wanted that bent up there, so it's going to hit the tip of the bait in the center, just like that. This is going to hide into the belly just a touch, so that way it's more slimline. That's going to be a spinner right out the back right here that'll fall right in line. It doesn't hang as far out the back as the flashy swimmers do, but it's cool. I like it. I think I like it better. And the top, if you noticed, see, I've got the hook eye there. If you roll it, see how that's flat right there? So if I actually, and we'll actually do this real quick. We'll put the bait holder on it, which is going to be a good sized, I think it's going to be a medium sized. I believe it's a medium sized. And I've got a lot of meat. I've got a lot of meat in these specific swim baits, so I got plenty of beef to grab into there, if you were. So then that way it'll grab into the bait and not really let go, right? It's going to be pretty tough to pull that out of there. So it goes back in pretty far. So I like those. Okay, so screw lock, that's the word I was looking for. I was having trouble with. So I was looking for that. But we put the screw lock on. Now I'm also going to take some of my, I've got a pair of pliers here somewhere to bend my wire. There they are. Okay. It's a wire bending tool that allows me to put a little U-bend on that. It actually helps me close these off. So I'll take that U right there. I don't know if I can show you this on camera or not, if it'll focus in. Yeah, so I'm going to take that U right there and I'm going to close it up using these pliers. Just like that. And then I made an almost perfect closed circle right there. That's what I want. So we got that there. Then we're going to get a ball bearing with split rings already on it, size 1. And I'm going to use I believe this is a size 3 on Barlow's. I'll have to look up the part number. It's one of these, but I think it's the next size down. This one's actually a little bit smaller than that one. So it's a 403181, but it's the size 3, not the size 4. This is the one I've been using with this swim bait, matched up to this swim bait. So really what you want to do is, whatever swim bait you're doing this on, this is how to match it up a little bit better. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this, I'm going to put this ball bearing with the split rings on to the actual hook onto the eye. We're going to put that on the back. If I can get it started and not have it fall off on me. So I got it started on there. I'm just going to turn it sideways and spin that split ring until we get it to clip into place. There it goes. Okay, so it finally gave way there. So sometimes they have a tough time getting back into there. So that's all we need to do is just get it moved back over there, which I think it just went right back into place again. Oh, you little turd. Oh, there we go. Okay. It actually just fell right into place. So a little bit tough sometimes, once in a while. It doesn't happen often, once in a while. But now see how I got that on there? So I've got a split ring and a ball bearing swivel there, and then the other end here for the spinner. So the other thing you can do here too is the blades are really easy to get on. You don't even need split ring pliers. You can just kind of push it through that split ring and just do the circle it around and get it right on there, which it's already on. There you go. So there's the completed project right there. Okay. Now you have to be careful doing your bends. You don't want to bend them too hard, too fast. They will break. They do. This does, I'm sure, bend the tensile strength of that wire. So these are formed when they're hot. So I'm doing this cold. Now one way you could do this a little bit better, you could heat it up a little bit and then do it, but this is just the way I roll. So the other thing you could do too is take a file just to get the edges off of the lead. Okay, and I'm going to do that off the camera, off the table, just because I don't want little loose lead particles all over the place. I do try my best to follow proper protocol when you're using this kind of stuff. It is really nasty. It's not good for you. So just taking off some little tiny sharp edges just to clean it up a little bit, and there you go. So now let's go ahead and put this bait in there, and I want to show you what I'm talking about. So screw lock this thing into the nose of the bait. Okay, right into the center of the nose. Okay, you want that eye to be that way. We're going to put this, like I said, all the way to the back of the hook slot and up through the bait. See if we did a good job there. Yeah, I think we did a pretty good job there. And then we got to make sure that the bottom, that it sits in that belly cavity. There we go. Okay, so there's the bait. There's the underspin. If you push up, look how much hook opportunity is exposed there now. Look at that. Huge gap. I could fit my whole finger underneath that hook. That's crazy. So that was what I was trying to improve. And also the streamline effectiveness. This will run right underneath that belly like that. It won't intrude with the tail, and it's just perfectly lined up. So with the beast hooks, I can push it up, and I get a pretty good gap. I get almost a finger gap, but what I was trying to do is be able to make my own, right? So this is what I'm getting, and there's a bigger, I'd say there's a bigger gap there, but I'm just showing you how you can take a regular swim bait hook and make it almost like a beast hook. So pretty awesome, and the best part about it is, look how slimline it is. And I've got nothing against Owner and their beast. It's amazing. It's an amazing product, and I like how they have that in there. It's a great way to keep that underspin in there. But look how slimlined I just made that, right? Nice tight to the body. You got a little bit of a gap here towards the nose, but that's not bad. And it tucks that lead in a little bit, and all you got is that underspin right there sticking out from the body. So I honestly think that that's a little bit better made. And again, here it is on another bait that I did. And I just love that hookup ratio. Look at that. I mean, that is insane. That hook just sticking out, it's crazy. So super excited to be able to make my own underspin hooks. I'm gonna make up a couple more, I think, before the end of the video, and I will come back and we'll wrap the video up when I have them all made, and we'll just talk about it a little bit more. I know you guys all like my fancy coasters up here that I got from my man Bait Chuckin' and his company 8-Bit Baits. Awesome. You should go check them out. So I got a couple of these made. I made 3 more of these 8-aughts. I also wanted to let you guys know that this mold, you can also use a 9-aught if you can find the hooks anymore. I don't know if you can get them anymore or not. I bought a bag of 100 of these, maybe 200 of these a while back, a couple years ago, close out from LureCraft, and I'm not sure if they even sell this anymore. But it's the same part number as these 8s, except it's just a 9-aught, okay? And that is for some bigger swim baits like the Boss, Epic Boss. My buddy Chris over at Swamp Trouts, he's got that ST7 or 8-inch, I can't remember what I think it's an ST7, 7-inch, that fits that perfectly. So I made that for his, and then these ones are for mine. I also made another one for the Goblin Baits' his swim bait as well. Awesome little swim bait. It's a little bit shorter than mine. I think he calls it a 5. I think it's 4.5, 5, something like that. I think it's 4.5. But his I started with, and man, I tell you, I bent that hook and I got the weight, and it fits in there perfectly. Look, you can't even tell it's in there at the lead. All you see is the underspin hanging out. It is fantastic. It fits in there perfectly. So I will probably do another video on the other brands that there is. But for now, I just wanted to wrap this up and show you guys this is what you can do. So I will put a description on everything in the bottom of the video. All the parts that were used, everything I used specifically in this video. I had to use a couple different blades, a couple different sizes, but just a way better, I think, a slimmer line process, a slimmer version of this. These may wear out and fall out over time, but it's such a slimmer profile to the bait, so I kind of like it that way. Okay guys, one thing I wanted to mention I forgot to really talk about too much was the wire form that I got from Mustang Wire Company. And I ordered like 5,000 of these things, so I got 2 huge containers full of these. And I'm not selling them. These are for my personal use and for, you know, me making my underspins and whatnot, because that's what they're made for, is my underspins. But for this process, I'm going to use them in my formed Swimbait hooks with the underspins now that I know that I can use them. But if you want to make these yourselves, it's just some 0.040 diameter wire, and you could bend them yourself. You can cut them and bend them yourself, very easy. I bend and cut wire all the time. Again, it's just a piece of wire, just cut it to the same kind of size that I do. Now mine is obviously specifically made for my underspins. You could make them a little bit longer if you wanted to extend that underspin a little bit farther down if you wanted to. It's completely up to you. You probably don't want to make it too long though, because when the fish grabs that, it's going to grab that as well, right? And that's why the flashy swimmer is so slimline tight to the body too, and it's on this other wire, because it'll fold up inside the fish's mouth or stay outside the fish's mouth, one of the two. So that's the only difference you're going to get with these, is the fish is going to grab that or grab it, and at least hopefully it'll get the hook. And if it does get that, it's so small that it's really not going to make a difference. You're going to get that hook inside the fish's mouth anyway. So I just wanted to let you guys know that. Like I said in the last segment, I'm going to go ahead and list everything that we used in the description below. I will try to find the hooks. I'm pretty sure you can find the 8/0s pretty easy. The 9s, I don't think you really can, but I will look again just to make sure and let you guys know about it. And most of this stuff, I guarantee you can get from Barlow's. I know you can get the wire from Barlow's. I've gotten those from there. You can get the ball bearing swivels from Barlow's too. I order those with the split rings on them from Amazon. I just get a lot of them. I get a lot of them in bulk, and I order a ton of them. All my blades, those are all from Barlow's. These little corkscrews, the bait keepers, you can get those. The screw locks, you can get those from Barlow's as well. I think there's one brand that they sell on there. I get a lot of these again on Amazon just because I get a bunch of them. I get them really cheap, but go ahead and get them on Barlow's if you want to. They're actually a little bit better. I think they're shorter and a little bit fatter, so they even make a little bit better of a connection, I think, in some of the baits. They're just a little bit more expensive. So completely up to you. Again, the lead stuff, just be careful when you're pouring lead. Always a safety concern. That's why I have such a high velocity fan above mine to pull all that bad air up and outside. Don't want to be breathing that stuff in. Should wear gloves when you're playing with lead. I typically don't, but I wash my hands consistently. So just make sure you're very careful doing what you're doing out there. And again, please, if you do make these, let me know about it. Show me. I want to see what you guys can make, if you guys can replicate this. And again, it is the Do-It Molds model SMB-3L-MTD mold. And again, everything will be listed below, and I'm also going to post a bunch of pictures on the end of this video so you can see everything. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to keep on baiting.